And yeah, we got a gig. So we opened the event. It was 150 people, 150 businesswomen in New York, 2 girls from Cardiff, just taking an opportunity. And we got 150 women singing 3-part harmony, Ain't No Mountain High Enough in about 7 minutes. So that was brilliant, but it was then in that event I came up with the idea for Turn Lights On. So there was another speaker there, and she was really inspirational. And she said that there's 2 defining moments in your life: the moment you're born and the moment you realise why you're born. And I just thought, it's not to make people sing. I love it, and I love the connection and what I got from inspiring people and conducting and all that sort of thing. But it wasn't to make people sing. And it was, and I used to do quite a lot of consultancy for the business as well. So I used to go into organisations and help with people, leadership and presentation skills, and I always used to say this word, come on, turn your lights on. I used to say turn your light on, in the fact that get your mojo on, that sort of idea. And I've always been really interested in presence and being in the moment, because I was so nervous when I was on stage. It was one of the hardest things for me to do. And when I rehearsed, I was always really in the moment, and I loved to rehearse, and I loved not being on stage. As soon as I went on stage, I'd have moments of presence and moments of just absolutely feeling terrified. So there was something about this idea of being in the moment. And all of them are quite confusing. And they're also linked to spirituality, which I have no problem with at all, but I believe that for everyone to have the life they love, and I truly, utterly believe that. I believe that everyone deserves the life they love. I don't think it's a privilege, I think it's a right. And with that, sometimes we link that to spirituality or the ether or something. And I think it's an inside job. It's about you really taking control of your own life. So that's why I really wanted Turn Lights On, the business, to be not something about spirituality, for it to be a black and white concept, really, that people can just pick up and run with it. So I got back to the UK and I started writing a book, and which for me was one of the biggest, hardest, emotional, cathartic things I've ever done. Because I found out when I was 32 that I'm dyslexic, and I'd always struggled with reading and writing, and I think that was one of the reasons why I didn't go into performance, because I'd be very nervous about reading things for the first time, and very nervous about reading scripts for the first time as well. So I got tested when I was 32 and realised I was dyslexic, and that I had quite some issues really. I've got a writing age of 7 and a reading age of 14 years old. So thank God for spell check really, and someone helping me really, and helping me with the edit. So writing is something I enjoy, but I would never say I was ever going to be an author. But I started writing, and I realised when I was writing it, I was talking to people and they were going, oh yeah, I'd love to know more about being in the moment, and I want to be more connected with my work, or be more connected with the people around me, and also a lot of people were saying, oh, my kids, they're never in the moment, they're always in their phones, or they're always in their iPads, and lots of people were talking to me about this sort of need for connection. So I was thinking, right, I've got this idea for the book, but I think Turn Lights On could be bigger. I think Turn Lights On could really be a movement, and it could be a way of life and a practice, and for people to really look at compassion and kindness and caring and all these things that as a society and a community we need. They're the foundations of community. They're the foundations of what's happening out there on a day-to-day. So that's why I decided yet again to sell my half of the business. So the beginning of last year, last January, I was sitting, I walked away from a beautiful team, with amazing customers, with fantastic pipeline work, to me in my living room, on my laptop, on my own, with a book. And that's pretty much it. So what's happened in a year is, what's happened in a year? What has happened in a year? I've talked all over the place. I talked in New York again about Turn Lights On. I have developed online and offline packages. I'm working with an investor at the moment to develop the offering. I've been contacted by some large organisations to speak and to develop some packages for them. There's definitely a thirst in organisations for people to engage more with their staff and how staff engagement really is. So I've developed something called Turned On Teams, and also I'm developing a business book as well for more authentic leadership as well within business. Feeling connected. So
you've got to work briskly and be able to just stimulate the mind to get away from it and come back and feel fresh.
Yeah.
It's like being in the fridge for about 10-15 minutes and then stepping out into warm air.
It's like having healthy habits, isn't it? Healthy habits that can get you more connected. Because I think also with the, if we look at the impact of what disconnection is looking like, that's what I'm interested in as well. In the fact that what does disconnection look like in our society? Well, I read a statistic the other day that there's 700,000 people in England alone with chronic loneliness. You can literally, something that I worked for a big supermarket doing some consulting.